Welcome back, everyone. My name is Token D Rock here with another video. I hope all of you are having a wonderful day. In today's video, we are going to be going over why the IMF and the World Bank are sweating over El Salvador. Hopping into the market, we can see Bitcoin is at $36,859. This is up a few $1,000s from the other day, right around the time that Trump called Bitcoin a scam, how it's a currency competing against the US dollar. So we are up from that point, which is good because El Salvador made Bitcoin legal tender. So we are flying off good news, but there is some more FUD going around, and we're going to tackle that later on in the video. As you can see, Ethereum and some altcoins, because of the FUD that we're going to get into later, have actually tumbled down a bit. Not crazy, but be prepared for anything and plan accordingly. First bit of crypto news, we have El Salvador planning to use geothermal energy from its volcanoes to mine Bitcoin. This is pretty big because it provides a solution to a problem we've been hearing about, how Bitcoin's horrible for the environment, uses too much electricity. That's what we've heard from Elizabeth Warren, Elon Musk, yada yada, the list goes on. It's a bunch of FUD for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, but they are offering a solution. The president of El Salvador has been in touch with LaGeoSV, their state-owned geothermal electric company, to put up a plan to offer facilities where Bitcoin can be mined using very cheap, clean, renewable, and emission-free energy that's created from the volcanoes. Very bullish news. I think we're going to see long-term more and more companies move over to El Salvador to mine Bitcoin. You have China talking about kicking miners out. Maybe this is a place that those miners can go to. I know it's definitely going to be cheaper than moving to like the US or the UK, other Western nations. El Salvador may be a power hub where Bitcoin is mined in the near future. Also have a bunch of other South American countries talking about making Bitcoin legal tender as well. So by and large, sentiment towards Bitcoin is pretty bullish internationally among these smaller countries. In other news, we have the IMF planning to meet with El Salvador's president regarding his country's latest move to make Bitcoin legal tender. Spokesperson Jerry Rice of the IMF said the group was already in discussions with lawmakers in El Salvador over a loan to support the country's economy, having approved emergency funds related to the pandemic last year. He also said adoption of Bitcoin as legal tender raises a number of macroeconomic, financial, and legal issues that require very careful analysis. I don't know about you guys, but this kind of sounds like the IMF is telling El Salvador, hey, enough with the Bitcoin nonsense. If you want to keep getting loans and funds from us and the World Bank, you need to stop with the Bitcoin nonsense. It's gone too far. You're the only country in the world that's doing this. You're the only one that's misbehaving and thinking differently. Why are you doing that? Stop that. You don't know what's best for you. You have no sovereignty over your country. We know what's best for you. That's what it sounds like. And if you don't stop, we aren't going to give you loans, and neither is the World Bank. What is the International Monetary Fund? It's an international financial institution that consists of 190 countries working to foster global monetary cooperation, secure financial stability, facilitate international trade, promote high employment and sustainable economic growth, and reduce poverty around the world while periodically depending on the World Bank for its resources. Now, what is the World Bank? You can't make this up. It's on their wiki. The World Bank provides loans and grants to the governments of low and middle income countries for the purpose of pursuing capital projects. Capital projects, development assistance, more or less. Not saying every dollar on this map came from the IMF or the World Bank, but I guarantee you a large majority of it did. Well, one of the countries that gets those loans and grants via the IMF and the World Bank is El Salvador. If you recall earlier in the video, Jerry Rice of the IMF is quoted as saying adoption of Bitcoin as legal tender raises a number of macroeconomic, financial, and legal issues that require very careful analysis. And if we head over to the IMF wiki page under conditionality of loans, the IMF does require collateral from countries for loans, but also requires the government seeking assistance to correct its macroeconomic imbalances in the form of policy reform. Now, what does policy reform look like in this situation? Well, policy reform in the eyes of the IMF and World Bank would be for El Salvador to decouple from Bitcoin and stop using it as legal tender, to stop looking into ways to mine Bitcoin with green energy or renewables, resulting in zero emissions when mining Bitcoin. They don't want to see Bitcoin succeed in El Salvador because they know if it succeeds, it will become an industry leader for Bitcoin mining, because more and more miners from around the globe as well as businesses will be flocking to El Salvador to mine Bitcoin. It's all about maintaining power and control. You really think the IMF and the World Bank want to hear from these countries, yeah, we're good, we don't need your multi-billion-dollar loan, we're good, you keep it? No. They want the power and control because they make money from those loans. You really think the IMF or the World Bank is offering loans to these poor countries and being like, yeah, you can pay me 0.5% interest, or yeah, you can pay me 1% interest? No, not a fat chance. Here in the US, in the Western world, we don't get interest rates that low. You really think they're going to give it to someone in the middle of nowhere who has no banking institutions around it? They're just going to take whatever they can get, realistically speaking, because they don't have any choices out there. So these countries are being screwed. What's crazy is that doesn't even take into account the fact that we go through a world economic recession once every 5 to 12 years, meaning governments spend like crazy, money printers go burr, inflation occurs, meaning purchasing power declines, meaning the cost of goods and services across the board go up. And to give you an example of how this is really devastating for these countries that rely on the World Bank and IMF, we're going to use Brazil for example. Let's say Brazil got $1 billion in 2019, like right at the end of the year, okay? Pandemic hits, so they spend most of their money, but they keep, let's say, 200 million on the sideline, just in case. Now, since the recession occurred, governments are spending like crazy, the money printer goes burr, that $200 million that they had in reserve is now worth like 190 million, meaning they don't have enough money to do everything they wanted to do. I think you can guess where this is going. They have to call up the IMF and World Bank and be like, you know that predatory loan that you gave us a few years ago? Yeah, it's pretty messed up that you did that to us, but we need some more money. Otherwise, we're going under. It's more or less like that, and it's kind of messed up. Personally, I think that's really messed up. There's like zero ethics at play because essentially the IMF, the World Bank give out these predatory loans to these low to middle income countries. Oh, we're doing you a solid. We're just going to give you all this money with a crazy high interest rate. And then you know what? That money that you have to pay us back, it's actually going to be worth less in a few years. Last bit of news before we wrap up today's video. We have Biden to be discussing crypto's role in ransomware attacks at the G7 summit coming this weekend. So be prepared. Plan accordingly. There may be a sell-off because this FUD's coming out. That about does it for today's video, everyone. If you enjoyed the video and learned something new, please show some support by liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Got some links down below for you to check out. Earn some passive income on the crypto you're hodling long term via BlockFi and Celsius. Get trading today via Binance US. Stay up to date with current crypto prices via CoinMarketCap. Stay up to date with upcoming events for your favorite altcoins on CoinMarketCal. We got a Facebook group where we do occasional callouts, so follow us over on there. My name's Token D Rock. I hope all of you have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye.